hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold.
Liz was wearing a shawl.
It'll come back on eventually because I'll be cold. It's one of those in-between days. Like,
I'm all nice and warm. I can't decide how to wear this. But good morning. Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow. I had to show off my, there's so many ways I could wear this. I couldn't find a good way. Dun, da, and I got boobs, so. Yeah.
Well, if it's cold, you can pull the top half you have looped over your.
I have to do a spin.
A spin. It looks so cool.
And then I'll take it off and show it off again. So yes. Oh, it's like if I get cold. Wait, we haven't done introductions, but I'm caught up with. I can do this.
And then she's the one.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I am the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion at Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in Brevard, North Carolina. And today's weather report is cloudy.
It's just cloudy. Look at. That's one of my favorite parts right there.
Ooh, I like that.
It's really fun. So, but it's hard to have things show off. Maybe the inside. If this is like an inside, outside, inside. It's rainy today, or it's going to be rainy. It's not raining right now, but it's going to be rainy. Maybe all week. We got what 2.5 inches in one day over the weekend. And then remnants of the hurricane that stalled out in the Gulf might be hitting us later.
And yesterday was the warmest day of the week. Like today is 73. Yesterday was like 80. To have warm clothes because tomorrow is going to be in the 60s.
Okay, ready? There we go.
And one of the nights this week is supposed to dip into the 40s.
She's excited by that.
I'm excited. That means lots of blankets.
So, welcome to our Monday. I don't even want to take this off. And what's over my head right now, so this is, Liz, don't touch this. I just coughed. What is all wrapped around me right now is my Wakanda Forever, which I'm calling Wakanda Forever. It's the Nakia's Infinity wrap from Black Panther that I started the day after I heard, the day after Chadwick Boseman's passing. So 2 Saturdays ago. So it took me, I can't say uninterrupted work. I tried as much as I could not to have it be interrupted, but as I got towards the end and the blocking and everything, other things started to take over my life a little bit. But less than a week and a half, could we say? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just so comfy. The main color, so a lot of anything that ended up in camera, which is not much. There's a lot more off camera of some color kits that we put together for this. And I have to say, there's a little bit of itchy right here because the main color in it is Silk Garden, Neuro Silk Garden, but not really. It's only on really sensitive parts of my skin that I might psychologically be feeling a little itchy. Actually, I think it's my hair being pressed against my neck that's itchy. Because I gotta say, the Silk Garden, which, you know, some of the kits, this color, if I had it, I would have made out this color. But this color is really fun too. When I blocked it, it got so soft. So soft. All right, I'm getting a little toasty then.
Yeah, it's one of those, look, it's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold.
Because it's in the middle right now, temperature-wise. Look! This thing, okay. It is probably close to 90 inches if it was spread out. But it is, I've seamed it even with a twist. You see that twist right there? They recommend a twist. So I blocked it out wide. It was major curling. It's still gonna curl on the edges. That's just unavoidable. I'm in love with it. I'm just, yes, yay. I have other things I can show off today, actually. Other things I finished too. But
I just started.
I did too this morning. My morning meditation this morning, I would say may or may not, but you know, people have already seen it probably, was swatching for my Jupiter prop.
Because, okay, So you see what had happened was the Calliope sweater is absolutely awesome.
I want to make the Calliope sweater.
She wants to make it. And what it was before you started this, just barely before she started.
I was planning and we made kits.
She looks at me from across the shop and she goes, "Hey Liz, what about these two colors?" And I'm like, "For what?" Like
I sent you a link. I swear I sent
the night before, but there was a link involved at some point in time. So it's like, what about these? And I'm like, for what? And then realized I needed to do a stagger back. Like, oh, that would be a gorgeous combination. But
she humors me.
It matched a hat she did from a while back. So I was like, then you could be a
just the mohair. Just the mohair.
Yeah.
The other color was different. Yeah. It was pretty.
Anyway, so I was like, how about this combination?
Someone else needs to make that combo for me.
Yeah. Like, how about this combination? And she went, ooh.
It involved this and a mohair that's not on the table anymore by the same name, both green. I love green.
So she went, ooh.
Yeah.
And then she proceeded to list the kits.
Uh-huh.
And then somebody bought the one kit.
Uh-huh.
In her size.
So I'm waiting.
So she has to wait for green.
I have to wait for the mohair. We have this. We have tons of the green. I have to wait for the mohair, the non-sparkly mohair. The one I was gonna make at first was sparkly, which would be even more fantastic.
Means she has to go back and do a sweater that's been in her queue, not on Ravelry, just her queue on the table.
I need to get organized on Ravelry. It is so not gonna happen.
Couple of months.
But I finished 2 projects this weekend. So that means I get to start another one.
I don't think I finished a project this week. Did I?
That means you get to start another one.
I did kind of. I didn't bring it with me, but I applied.
But Liz,
423 yards.
That's amazing. That deserves a reward.
Sunday.
But see, Liz, like people depend on you just continually growing your project count. Like I feel like that's a thing.
We actually had to count Papillons on Friday night because 17. I lost track.
Wait, is the 17 counting the one you have just started?
17, yes.
That's 17. Okay, that right there. This thing right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
My whinger.
So to get back to what I was originally starting today's episode with, all right. So this right here, the Nora, which is the dark stuff, and the Lorna's Laces Zombie Barbecue, which by the way, isn't that gorgeous? Don't you just want to make a sweater out of this? Oh my gosh.
A papillon out of them. Oh my gosh.
This is the end of it and the beginning. Like I did a Kitchener. I Kitchenered that so that you can't see much of a seam. Isn't that pretty? And it's with a half twist, which means that when I was knitting this, the right side, the odd rows of what I was knitting were purl and the even rows were knit. But then when you flip it over and seam it, you have all knits on the same side from where the odd rows were and even rows. Because as I go through this, you might see the twist, or when I hold it up, so right. So anyway, by the way, so squishy and soft, the Lorna's Laces Shepherd Worsted. Shout out to Amanda. This knit up so amazingly wonderfully. Like I want to do more with it, but I have so many things I need to do.
Instead, did my night shift.
Instead, I'm starting with my walkabout that is not soft, but sturdy and good for color work. Anyway.
I did my night shift in Lorna's Laces because it is so soft and squishy.
Soft and squishy. Okay, so the Silk Garden is actually pretty soft. It's silk and mohair and then a little bit of wool and a little bit of some other stuff. But some of this is going to be so dark for camera. This had some twisted stitches in it. And then we had Lorna's Laces again with some weaving of the Silk Garden. And then it was Feederbrook Farm, a colorway, Kinetic Energy, that I never would have knit with on my own, just seeing it in the skein. Love how it knit up with some holes in it on purpose. And then there was finishing this and then adding this in and like kind of stitching it together as you went. This is Sugar Bush Motley. Has alpaca in it.
Oh my gosh, it's so soft.
And hard to see on film. I'm not necessarily going to keep showing these things up really, really close to the camera. You can yell at me later about that. This has ribbing in it. And then we're starting to hit the spot. This has cables. Okay, I just said I wouldn't do this, but now I'm going to do it. This is the back side of the cables because we're hitting the part where you could wear it inside out or outside in. Here's the front part of the cables. Again, don't show up very much, but look at that, the gorgeous striping of Noro. Striping of Noro. Sorry, my mouth was off screen. And then we have some arrow lace work, which I ran out of feeder brook, but I still wanted to have more length on it. So I went back to leftover sugar bush. And then here again is the end to the beginning. And it keeps going. And oh my gosh. So comfy. And I'm super excited. And I have done my tribute. And so many possible ways to wear this. You know, I don't know how I'm going to wear this yet. This is not a way to wear it, but I could.
She keeps playing with it.
I keep playing with it. I want it to be like kind of warrior-esque, but that's not going to work with the boobage. For now, I'll just wear it. Double loop.
Double loop infinity.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
Anyway, so this is, it's so soft. And it's big and huge and wide, but I can jam it up around my neck and not feel like I am choked off. So that was my way of trying to process hearing about Chadwick Boseman, because I think that took all of us by surprise. And so now I have a tribute to him that I can also keep in the shop as an example of how at least 4 of the yarns knit up. Well, not more than 4, but because there's only 4 yarns in it. But I mean, it was a journey on many levels for me, which is really cool. So I started a new project. But, okay, so we talked about you spun a whole lot of yarn.
I did.
Okay.
I finished spinning and I plied it all on Sunday, and dropped spinning and flying that much in one day.
Hurt.
If it had been flu season, I would have been like, I'm dying. But you know.
Did you do any plying during our Facebook Live event and the Zoom thing on Saturday?
I spun a little bit.
We had a good time with people on Saturday.
To finish the yarn that I had that I needed to ply on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And then I plied all day Sunday. Like,
pause for emphasis.
I have 423 finished yards, or finished, they're plied together. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it took me about really cool. 3 weeks to spin 800 plus yarns. Yards.
That's what it does to your brain to do all that.
But
so
last night, or yesterday afternoon, I got in my new roving, my thistle colors.
So you're done. You're like, I spun so much, I can't do anymore. Ooh, look, yarn. Ooh, look, roving.
Roving, yeah. So shout out to Kathleen. She sent me a blending board video last night. And I was like, oh, by the way, Tuesday night on knit night, I'm going to be like knocking out Rolags like a machine. Cause
so if anyone wants to see her knocking out Rolags like a machine, and you're not like, what's Rolag? Come visit, because it's really cool to learn about.
I got all this new roving, and now I must make thistle yarn. And I actually need to like, I'm thinking about doing a fractal thing with it where it kind of winds up looking like Peterborough, where, you know, you have a long color change and then short color changes. And anyway, I want to do more than what I've been doing. So,
well, see, that's for me, that's the thing. If you don't like how yarn changes and you want longer color changing yarn or shorter color changing yarn, and you can't find it in the local yarn shops, which, you know, we have some stuff. Other yarn shops will have other stuff. And if you can't find what you're looking for anywhere, make your own. I don't make my own, but she does. It's always an option. No, it's always an option.
Well, and I like pairing it with other yarn that I find. Like we discussed at Knit Night last week, like spinning for a project,
Mhm.
like if you have a project in mind, trying to keep your yarn all consistent.
For like gauge, if it's something that needs
yeah.
to fit.
So I generally
Shout out to Shia. She's learning that.
Shia, yeah.
I haven't tackled that.
Oh my gosh. But like for my hat, I spun all my yarn and then went, I'm going to put it on this needle anyway. So what's a yarn I can pair with it? And found the perfect baby butts and unicorn kisses. Puyu.
Puyu. Amano Puyu.
Puyu.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's on our website.
So, and the chocolate, like the chocolate in my yarn that I spun and the chocolate in the colorway are almost identical.
Yeah, so there's spots where on the hat she's making where she's alternating stitches and you can't tell.
So
it's pretty cool.
But I like pairing them, so
I'm
gonna have to. I keep being drawn to red and teal. So
red and black, red and teal, things like that. Those are definitely your colors.
I might.
I don't know if I'd call it a problem. I call it a fascination. It's like, it could be an addiction, but I know worse addictions.
Yeah, it's true.
As long as it doesn't put you, out of house and home money-wise, like, is it really a bad addiction?
You've seen how much money I've spent.
Yes, but you also work here, so you're spending what you earn.
True.
Anyway.
And,
when I was in Minion status at another shop, shout out to Bonnie, and Bumbleberry, I basically made enough to support my habit. Not enough to live on. I was a teacher full time, but I made enough to support my habit.
Unfortunately, I'm supporting like 4 habits right now.
Well, that's not my fault. Anyway, I'm not enabling that directly. And you're knitting with new yarn now that we're more going to talk about tomorrow.
We're going to talk about it tomorrow, but
it's fuzzy and tweedy and sparkly all in one.
Yeah. So because we were talking about it tomorrow, I was like, ooh, sneak peek. Not that you can see anything because
it's really dark teal and red. And sparkles don't always show up on camera. Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily a sparkly person. Like,
there's time.
Why add sparkle to your clothes when you have fairy hair and
although I think I have like 3 strands of fairy hair left. I have my own look, my hair's growing out, and I told Brian this morning, I'm a superhero. Look at my rogue streak. Because now we can tell what white hairs I have. Gray, white, whatever. Would you like to show that off since you're holding it up?
I really need to finish this. This needs to be done for October.
It's your Halloween papillon. I need to get back to a papillon. I'm doing one, and I did it in my meditation like a few weeks ago, but I'm still on the same row. So I feel bad putting it in the meditation again because I'm still on the same row. So
I did like gorgeous. 1 row of this yesterday and felt, actually I did 2. I did the purple row and then I did the
as you get
5 and 6.
The longer you get in the papillon, the longer the rows get.
And then, so now I just have to do my purple row again and I will have completed a whole row, or section or color or whatever. And so I did this and I was sitting there going, I need to start a new project.
It happens. So. That's what keeps you going on the old ones though, because you don't get super bored with them because you've started a new project, right?
I don't ever work on them long enough to get bored.
Speaking of finishing things, I finished this. I did have to start taking out the provisional cast on and Kitchenering it in the dark. Well, not total dark. I lost power yesterday for about an hour. And we found it fried one thing, non-essential thing. Oh. But the splitter that lets Brian watch news in the morning in the kitchen. We figured out that every time we lose power from like a lightning strike, it fries it. So neither here nor there. So I had to go back out to the room I film in because there's lots of windows out there, and I sat on the floor and started taking out, I couldn't work on my newsletter, no power. So I started taking out the provisional cast on, and this was pinned to the floor so I could unpin it and start sewing it, and the cat was mad I was sitting on the floor. So I got several dive bomb attacks by the cat. Or maybe he was mad I took his blanket off the floor.
So Avi wants nice yarn to lay on, and you took the nice yarn away from him.
I know, I have twice now because my COVID cardigan is sitting here and you take that back home. I only briefly showed this off, but I finished this last week in the middle. The only thing I worked on while I was working on this is my Hotel of Bees. Since I'm about to show you another crochet thing I finished, I'm gonna, sorry. This is my Hotel of Bees shawl, which I think is wonderful and fantastic. And I wanna see, I'm sorry if I whacked you with that.
You didn't?
Okay. The noises I made were intentional. The whacking afterwards was not. I want to see if I can get one of the, you can kind of see the little bees here. Here they are in the gray. Like if I spread them. I haven't blocked this. I'm not sure if I'm going to. And there's little bees down there. We have kits for this and it's so soft and squishy and amazing. And I'll order more yarn if we run out. So that's Hotel of Bees, crochet. Gorgeous, Aini, sport weight, almost fingering weight, alpaca and silk. The little cousin to the Puyu. It's plied and twisted instead of a chainette like the Puyu, but it's still wonderfully soft. This has been on the back burner for a while now. If we go back to when I was doing all the Rachie Newen stuff, I finished my wildflower shawl.
Oh
really
gosh,
excited about
so
that.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool?
I love that.
It's so busy from far away. But yeah, it's got puffs going down here. So soft and squishy. It's DK weight. It has some sugar bush colors and some fiber spates colors in it. You can see places where I change yarn. I have ends to weave in. See the puffs? It's a half hexagon or trapezoid. The bottom is really neat. See all the ripples that it's making? The ripples are fun. They are all made with single crochet in the back loop for the most part. And I like to call it the feather and fan is a knitting technique where you combine stitches in a bunch and then so that's, which one's, this is the feather maybe. And then the fan is where you add stitches in and have kind of this look work and then bunch them and open them. And it gives you a little chevron. And this has the same, this is like a crochet version down there at the bottom, crochet version of feather and fan. It was really fun and I really enjoyed it. And I still need to post finished pictures so Rachie can see them because I've been tagging her and she's been going, the emoji version of, yay, that looks so cool. I am a loose crocheter. It's supposed to take 3 skeins of yarn, 1 skein of each color. And it might look like there's only 2 colors, but then see these stripes? This variegated is different than this one. And I was doing just the length of the pattern, which is 44 rows before you start the edging. And I ran out of yarn right before the end. I ran out of the brown and cream color. But luckily, my other color was really similar. So, excuse me, yarn long. You can see where this yarn is right. And I actually stitched it in a little bit. So where I changed colors right here. This row, these 2 rows are supposed to be the cream and brown. And I had to finish with a little bit of the purple and pink. Just a little bit. But look, I think it works. Unless you had 2 contrast colors that were super different. This will work.
I have a question.
Possible answer.
If you were to do almost a full hexagram, but leave 1 slice open, you could make like a capelet, right?
In theory, yes. I will say I had to rip this one out and restart it because the sides and the middle are not equal. The 2 sides are equal. The middle is shorter. The middle, like if all 3 sides had been equal, this would have been up like this. That's what was happening with it. It was almost becoming a capelet on its own. Like I would say 4 panels that were equal, like doing this 4 times, might actually give you the capelet you're going for, in a way. What happened? The pattern. what I noticed was the colorful stripes have increases on the end, here, 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 here. Every edge of every triangle gets an increase. The yellow thinner stripes increase on both sides of the outer triangles and not in the center, which keeps the center not as, like if I hold this out like this, like really extend it, you can tell somewhat, because it's a really busy shawl, that the center triangle is not as wide as the side ones. So if you were going to make it into like a poncho type thing, I think there'd have to be
Math.
some variations to a theme, which would be doable because I did half the shawl, or at least 2/3 of the shawl, incorrectly the first time. I had to rip it out and do it again because the shape wasn't coming out right. But doubles, singles, puffs, really fun, really, really fun. I might put together kits for it, but the same warning that you might have to fudge the very ending of it if you crochet like I do. Either go down some hook sizes, which would make it a little smaller, or
Buy more yarn.
buy more. Yeah, I'm gonna make the kits that are only one skein of each, and if you want to buy more, you can buy more.
Well, if I made that, I would make it bigger, and
so she'd buy more. Yeah.
I'd buy more.
I have not blocked this. I want to make very clear. I have not blocked this yet. So the wingspan, I now have it stretched out with my arms as stretched out as they will go. And if this is, I bet if I blocked this, it would grow a little bit. I don't want to aggressively block it, but if I blocked it a little, it would grow a little. But this, for me, this is actually, I don't need it to go much longer than this in terms of if I was going to wear it this way. This is a nice length to still have flexibility and movement and be able to work in the shop. If it was much longer, I'd be like trying to get stuff done.
I like the.
I know that is your thing. But so I finished this. This is why I was like, I can start something new, even though I haven't finished other stuff. I also wanted to keep you all entertained in my morning meditation, so I'm trying to change it up and do different things. But I'm trying to get back to, like, I have a sweater that I'm on the sleeves. I could really finish it soon because it's chunky. My hip stripe sweater. So, you know. Speaking of the project I started, I also got back to this one a little bit. This is so crazy. Before I get the one I just started, this is the Venezia shawl by Joji Locatelli. And I'm doing it with a really thin cotton, the Huasco cotton. I took a picture. I just, again, trying to change up what I'm doing for morning meditations. I did a picture of this online and people went, ooh, oh my gosh. I was not expecting people to go gaga over this yarn. I like the yarn, but not necessarily a big seller in the shop. So I was like, but photographs will. So, what?
The Venezia shawl would look cool in Hoagie's Cathedral.
Do we have that? And so this was Hoagie's Cathedral. It's, Lorna's Laces colorway for Joji Locatelli. Yes, it would look gorgeous because the colors in this work well, but it has weird pooling. If you don't like that, this will have much more subtle color work and pooling. It's super cute. This is a thin wrap. This is, you increase like every 6th row until you're halfway through the yarn. You're only increasing 2 stitches every 6 rows. And there's a lace work on the edge and ribbing in the middle. And then when you get halfway through with the yarn, weigh your yarn as you go, get a kitchen scale, whatever, drug scale, all that fun stuff. When you're halfway through your yarn, you start decreasing. So you end up with a thin wrap that is very stylish. It would be good for elegant wear. All the more reason it would be wonderful in Hoagie's Cathedral. Good call. This is my super sophisticated project bag because I have too many projects going. This is the Walkabout sample that I'm doing. I just want to talk about it for a second, and then we should probably go get ready for the day. So Walkabout is sport weight Shetland Island wool, and organic Shetland Island wool. Organic is yummy. Shetland Island wool, the Shetland sheep, means is a very sturdy yarn. It is not necessarily a silky soft yarn. It's not merino. How do you fix that?
You add mohair to it.
You beat the crap out of it. No kidding.
No, I did.
Add mohair to it. But yes, if you don't want to add mohair to it, I just want people to know what they're buying if they buy this.
It'd be great for steeking sweaters, but like I did my
sticky wool,
my fingerless mittens that come all the way up to my elbow. But I added a strand of mohair to it, made them on a bigger needle because
mohair adds girth, even if it's really thin.
I can wear it on the inside of my arm, like it doesn't itch or anything.
But because people have started to become super fascinated with, I want soft yarn, and that is great. It is not always going to give you the stitch definition and the sturdiness of a garment that you want, but I still make stuff out of soft yarn, obviously. But I was going to make this out of really soft Hearthstone, and then we had kind of a eureka, but we could. And now I'm actually making it. I had the Hearthstone colors picked out for forever, but now I'm going to use Hearthstone, which is like an alpaca wool, fun, yummy. Alpaca merino, I should say. Super yummy. I'm going to use that with my mohair, so extra soft for my collecting. But let me show you this. This is the beginning of my gauge swatch, believe it or not. It might look like an oversized mitten, but this is the beginning of my gauge swatch for my Jupiter crop top. And the reason it might look like an oversized mitten, I'm doing it magic loop, only 44 stitches. It's a pattern repeat that I'm doing the color work for that is 11 stitches across. And so I cast on 44 stitches. I divide it in half, 22 on each side, so that I could, and I can take it off the needles here so I can go, look at the loop, so that I could test my gauge. Because the last Caitlin Hunter, Jupiter crop is a Caitlin Hunter sweater. And the last Caitlin Hunter sweater I did, she advised doing your gauge swatch in the color work in the round, doing it just like you would on a sweater. And this is very small for a sweater, but it's mimicking the way I'm going to knit when I'm doing it in the round, probably not magic loop like this for the most part, with the color work, because stranded color work will change your stitch size. If you do just a stockinette sample where you're just knitting and purling and you lay it out flat, stranded color work tends to pull your stitches tighter. Even people with the most awesome loose floats, you'll have a different gauge when you are knitting with two colors than you will knitting by yourself. Some people will have identical gauges, and that's wonderful, but it's not usual. And then doing it in the round is, if I was knitting across and purling across, I've seen some stuff on Knit and Chat where people have very different tensions knitting and purling, and they actually have a ribbed look.
I do. If you look like on my red sweater where I had to purl back across,
does it look a little different?
The stitches are very tall.
Norwegian purl. I've got one spot on my Age of Brass and Steam where I was doing a morning meditation for y'all, and I did my regular throwing purl, and then I switched to our Norwegian purl, which has a little more pull to it, and you can tell the stitches are very different sizes. I sort of figured when I do my Norwegian purl, I kind of have to pull the yarn a little bit tighter to. And that's something, consistency is something to work at. So, so I'm doing this in the round to measure, because what I found with my Soldatna, I grumbled my way through. That was one of the last times we had to sit and stitch here in the shop, right when the world was falling apart. I grumbled my way through doing about 2 or 3 different gauge swatches. I had to go up, because my yarn was different than the yarn they used. It was a cotton, and thinner possibly than the yarn she used. I had to go up 2 or 3 needle sizes, and it took doing my gauge swatches like this to figure it out. So if it's something you want to fit, I cannot stress enough times, especially if it's bigger than a hat. If it's something you want to fit, it really is worth the time. And I know Sarah Beth, shout out to Sarah Beth, will vehemently disagree with me, but I'd rather it come out the right size than have to give it away. So
Well, Sarah Beth doesn't mind giving it away.
Yeah.
Like,
she doesn't gauge.
I mind.
I do too. If this is for me and I want to wear it as a shop sample, I'm going to take the time.
Yeah.
So I might knit a little more because this is awfully small to try to measure. And then I'm going to measure it. And if my gauge is not right, I'm going to try with a bigger or smaller needle. If my gauge is too big, if I don't measure enough stitches in the space, that means my stitches are too big. They need to shrink. I need a smaller needle. If I have too many stitches, that means I need to expand the size of my stitches. I need a bigger needle. I always have to think that through because for some reason the brain wants to do it flippy floppy.
I can spit it out because I've heard you say it so many times after you've thought it through. But the problem is the people will look at me after I've spit it out and gone, if you have too many stitches, you have to go up. If you have too few stitches, you have to go down. And people will look at me and go, are you sure that's right? And then my brain goes, wait,
we second guess ourselves.
Oh my gosh, maybe? No, Rebecca says it this way.
I second guess myself a lot too. So just so you can all see, we got all these lovely colors. We got really vibrant colors of Walkabout, and we have like 16 million shades of neutrals in the Shetland Island wool.
It's awesome. I've done gnome hats.
Her really long gnome hats. These are the colors we picked out, and this one you can't tell what it is. It's a really dark purple. Look on my Instagram feed. It's gorgeous. But these are the colors I'm going to do my Walkabout in. And again, I don't necessarily like putting together kits until I know how much yarn it needs, which I didn't do with the Calliope sweaters, but I went off of her recommendations and did the math because it was only 2 yarns instead of 5. So on that note, I feel like we've been very practical today. I'm feeling very practical. But I'm also feeling like we have a lot of orders to fill.
Okay, we thank you for those orders.
Thank you for those, but oh my gosh. Local yarn store weekend, so we had our virtual event because we weren't here. And I'm sorry if you came by, but we weren't here because we're not here on the weekends because safety first. But we had special codes you could use in the online shop if you attended our sit and stitch. And people use those codes. We have so much work to do today. And we might have Vikings. We're gonna see. The Vikings last Thursday was unbelievable. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm still trying to figure out how Thursday happened. We're in a pandemic.
They came in several boats, but they came very fast and quite often. And wow.
And we helped them all so they wouldn't break down the doors and come inside. And that was wonderful. But wow, it was a long weekend because of that and because of the sales. And yes.
Thursday was our big Viking day. It rivaled yarn crawl days.
Yeah.
Like
in terms of money moved, right? In terms of yarn out the door, money coming in.
In terms of steps walked for us.
Probably. I don't know about in terms of number of customers. We had some big shoppers though.
And then Friday.
Which is good. You guys space yourselves out right now. Social distancing.
Friday we had our normal Friday day, which wasn't a horrible day in the shop. But it was a long day because we come in early to take care of stuff here and
ship stuff and then lesson
put
and then
stuff up online after you got home.
Yeah, I'm putting up kits and other things.
And then we had knit night. And then Saturday we had knit afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Sunday, I told people on Saturday I'd get more things up online. So I was working on that Sunday. And then Bracken Mountain Breakfast Club is noisy today. Making sure they're okay. And then Monday I'm filming and doing a newsletter and I lost power. And there's nothing like losing power when it's a rainstorm, like really heavy rainstorm. That's good sleeping weather. But losing power can startle you and then you can't sleep.
It's a thing.
Yarn store issues, you know. Okay, so we love you all and we miss you, and we hope you enjoyed the sit and stitch and took advantage of our lovely sale. And we are plotting things for
we have lots of ideas.
We're plotting things for the fall. We still haven't figured out what we're doing shopping wise for the fall and winter when it's cold and we can't help you outside, because right now that's working pretty well for us. But we're plotting online things. And I haven't told Liz this yet, but some of the online things might also be in person, like outside the shop things too. Just we'll get there. Because at some point we got to offer some nice things to people who come up to shop too, but limited. Anyway, because we're trying to not to make our lives completely crazy, but still keep you all supplied with yarn and us in business. Yeah, let's be practical here. That boils down to that sometimes. Sorry. So, anyway, dear Becky and Lizzy on Thursday, if you'd like to participate in that, write us a letter or send Liz an email. The address for that, we may or may not have letters this Thursday, which is fine. You know, we won't make something up, but we'll talk about something. We'll find something to talk about.
Always do.
Dear Becky and Lizzy, if you want to physically mail us a letter, it's Sundragon Art and Fiber, 35 South Broad Street, Brevard, North Carolina, 28712, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And if you run out of time and can't, or
pressing
don't
questions.
have a stamp
Pressing
or whatever,
questions.
yeah, pressing questions, you can email me at liz@sundragonartandfiber.com.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, we're going to sell you stuff tomorrow. We have the new sparkly yarn that we want to talk about. I've already put it online, but if you want to hear us talk about it a little bit more, like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's hard to show it off. You got to go look at the photos.
I wasn't sure I could double it and make it feel right, and then I doubled it, and oh my gosh, it's so.
Because you know,
squishy.
Liz, go big or go home. We'll talk more about specifics tomorrow. But it's nice. I want to make a poncho out of it. One of my many ongoing projects. We'll see if I ever finish any. But look, I finished 2 this weekend. So yay. There's hope. We hope you all are staying safe and as healthy as possible. And we miss you. It was really fun to see some people outside the shop last week. It was neat to see some people we either haven't seen in a while, or new people, or people who shopped with us last year this weekend. That was fun. The next time we're doing a Saturday sit and stitch like that will be, I think it's October 24th. It's the Saturday.
That's the date you emailed.
Is it? Good. Me. Then that's, I'm just trying to remember brain, it's not Halloween, but it's like the Saturday before Halloween. Anyway.
I'd say come see me in my Halloween clothes, but on most sit and stitches, I'm wearing my Halloween clothes. So normal clothes are my Halloween clothes.
All right. We've gone on for a really long time now, which is fine with us, but we do have other stuff to do. And hopefully it's fine with you too. Stay happy and healthy, and keep knitting and crocheting. De-stress any way you can, and subscribe and thumbs up us, and share with people. We're at 407. We're slowly inching. Once we hit 400, it's like here and there. Thanks for watching us, though.
Last week was our 60th episode, so this is like 61.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is episode 61. How crazy is that? That means we're heading into our 31st week doing this.
It's crazy.
It is really crazy. But we love y'all. We miss you.
Stay tuned for more adventures of Lizzy.
No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you. I'm going to hang up now. Okay. Bye. I impaled myself on the twisties. Oh.
You're also. She has yarn wrapped all the way around the chair and the.
I haven't sewn my ends in yet. Oops.
And it hopefully didn't unravel like the whole thing.
No, it's tied off. It unraveled the little ball. It's time to go now. Bye-bye.